Alright, in this video I'm going to be talking about my top 10 Kyoto animation anime. Kyoto Animation, or KyoAni, is my favorite anime studio of all time. They've made some of my favorite stuff. Generally, when KyoAni makes something, I'm pretty interested. Now, this one isn't on the list, but a little bonus installment. Baja no Studio. This is a very cute little short. There's two shorts, actually. And it's about a little hamster who lives in an animation studio. It's just about his imagination, and like he interacts with like this evil toy, and he wants to save like this little duck toy. It's very, very cute. It's gorgeously animated, and listen, if you just want something that's just light, beautiful to look at, and just really, really adorable, then Baja no Studio is definitely worth watching. I also think a lot of people don't know about it, so yeah, go check it out. But now let's jump into number 10. Number 10 is Violet Evergarden. It's about a girl who, was in the war, and then she basically fought through it, lost someone she loved, and then she basically is what's called like a doll, auto doll, and she goes to people to sort of transcribe like letters and like make them convey their feelings in letters and stuff. She's very, like, at least at the start, very emotionless, very stoic, not really someone who opens up easily, and it's kind of about her, like, learning empathy and, things like that. And it's nice. It's beautifully animated, episodic, so that it's like, there's different stories here and there. There is some overarching stuff through. I like the main character. I usually am not super crazy about like, the super quiet, like very, very, very like stoic character. But it's nice to see her grow. I don't love the end. There's like a final movie. I was not a fan of how they chose to wrap it up, but it's not enough to make me just like dislike the show. I still think it is worth watching. Still well written. I do like seeing that main character grow. Number 9 is A Silent Voice. So this one is a movie adaptation of the manga, where it's about this high school guy who mercilessly bullied this deaf girl, and she like moved away and stuff, and then later they reunite. Well, he becomes the target of bullying afterward, and then they reunite, and he wants to just basically make it up to her. The movie is very good. It's very beautiful. It's very emotional. I do prefer the manga, though. And it's interesting. Like, if I had not read the manga, maybe I'd have a different opinion about the movie. The manga, I think, focuses more on the girl, especially her perspective. Whereas the movie, I think, focuses a little more on the guy redeeming himself, which is a great story. There are all these other characters in the original manga that are in the movie, but they don't really do anything because they don't have the time to expand upon it. Honestly, a show with KyoAni doing it would have been pretty cool. I still think the movie does a good job, though. And it's also a very interesting story overall because, when I read A Silent Voice, I hated that main guy because you're supposed to hate him. He's horrible to this girl. By the end of it, I was like, yeah, no, you turned me around. Like, you really took responsibility and just actually felt sorry for your actions. It's a heavy movie. It's a heavy manga as well, but I think it's still very, very good. And then Naoko Yamada directed it, and I love her work. You'll see her name appear many times on this list. If you've seen the movie, I think the manga is also really good too. Both are good. Number 8 is Hyoka. This is directed by Yasuhiro Takamoto, who I really loved his work and was so sad about his passing in the fire. And I say this every time, and I'm so glad KyoAni has managed to recover and like continue to create. But anyway, Hyoka is about low-key, like low-stakes mysteries. I've compared it in the past to like, I don't know, not exactly like Encyclopedia Brown, but kind of like that. Like, it's refreshing to see a mystery show, but it's not murders and stuff. It's like a romance show. It's cute. The mysteries are fun. It's a fun core group of characters. I think it's very underrated. And of course, it goes without saying that all the shows on this list are gorgeously animated. I almost feel like I don't even need to mention that. The main girl is just so, infectious in her energy. It's great. Highly recommend it. If you like slice of life stuff, and like some romance. Hyoka's really good. Number 7 is Lucky Star. This is another Takemoto. Well, he directed the majority of it. They replaced directors like after like 3 or 4 episodes. But Lucky Star is the peak slice of life, not for everybody. I describe it as anime girl Seinfeld, laid back, offbeat. Sometimes girls will just hang out and talk about how to eat a pastry or whatever. Some absurdist comedy in there. I love the store owner character. He's really funny. Akira Kogami, who's just this genki little, oh, I'm cute, I'm a cute little girl. And then she's just like, fuck this shit. It has a wide variety of really fun characters. A great tsundere character. I always love a tsundere with Kagami. Funny. I don't know. Like, it's not gonna be everybody's cup of tea, but for me, I think it was pretty damn funny. So it's on the list. Number 6 is Nichijou. This is one that when I first watched it, I kind of fell off of it. And then I watched it with a group of friends later, way later. And I'm like, I'm so glad I came back to this and gave it a chance. I describe it as hit or miss in its humor, but when it hits, it really hits. I like that the designs are kind of like simpler, but that means when they really go hard on the animation, it's extra funny. Seeing them just like go do these ridiculous animation segments. Yeah, it's not for everybody because it's very weird. Some of the jokes I think might be too Japanese, even for me. I don't really get the jokes, but I just kind of admire it overall of like, man, this is just a creative, weird show. Definitely a lot wackier, but I like the vibe a lot. And I'm excited for City whenever that comes out. Number 5 is K-On! Yeah, you'll see that a lot of these are like girls hanging out, but I don't know. It's a fun genre. K-On! Is definitely one of those pioneers of the 4 girls in a band genre. It's cute. It's funny. I really like the dynamics between the characters. Well, there's 5 girls, but anyway. The music's really good. It's got that fun, just sort of cute sound. If you just want another show of just like good vibes, K-On! Has great vibes. Yeah, it's pretty light on, character stuff. Although I do think the first season does have an arc. It's fun. You're either gonna like this kind of show or hate it. I happen to like this kind of show. But I think the comedy of it really sells it for me. There are some shows like this where it's like just slice of life hanging out where I'm like, okay, it's not really for me. But this one, I think, if you can get some fun gags in there, some good music, and I think really appealing cast of characters, where it's just fun to watch. If you have a good group of characters, it's fun to watch them do anything. And K-On! Is one of those shows for me, where it's just fun to watch them do stuff. It's fun. Number 4, I'm combining into like one entry, Full Metal Panic Fumofu and Full Metal Panic The Second Raid, both directed by Yasuhiro Takemoto. So I love Full Metal Panic. It's one of my favorite series ever. It's about a stoic military guy sent to protect a girl in high school because she has like special powers and stuff. It's a mecha romantic comedy / mecha drama, which is very, I think, unique. The first season is by Gonzo, I believe, and it hasn't aged well in terms of animation, in my opinion. It looks kind of ugly sometimes. I still love it, but I have to admit that. But when KyoAni stepped in to do Fumofu, man, it was like, whoa, this looks so much better. And Fumofu is the comedy season. It's so funny. It's just absurdist side stories in the high school. And then Second Raid is very different, where it is a very serious mecha storyline, and the main character goes through some emotional turmoil. For those who have seen the Second Raid, I think the haircut scene is one of my favorite scenes in all of anime. I love the chemistry between the main 2 leads. It's my favorite anime couple of all time. And Second Raid has some really great action sequences as well. The 4th season was good too. I did miss KyoAni's touch, but anyway, Fumofu, Second Raid, both really were iconic shows for me as a youth, and I still love them. I rewatched them, and I'm like, I love that shit. I still feel the same way I did back then watching these shows. Number 3 is Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, another Takemoto show. Talked about this one many times. It's a slice of life comedy about dragons who have human forms. It's very horny. It's got problematic stuff. I've talked about this before, but it's cozy, and I really do think it is a show that has a really nice family in the center of it that I really enjoy. It's sweet. It's a very sweet show. and very funny with Fafnir and other characters that have really funny sort of side segments. I still haven't seen the second season. I say that every time. I intend to at some point. Again, Takamoto, he was great. Really, really loved his work. And this was a show, I mentioned my anime that surprised me, where I kind of was like, it's not for me. And then I watched it and I was like, damn, no, this is absolutely up my alley. I love a good, fun, slice of life comedy. Number 2 is The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. I love Haruhi. And I'm realizing over time, I cannot recommend this show to my friends. I've had such a bad track record of either introducing this to friends or watching other friends introduce this to other friends, and it's very divisive. I used to think Haruhi was a slam dunk, and I still love it. Like, it's one of my favorite anime. But if you don't know what it is, I'm not going to spoil it. It's about a headstrong girl who recruits or forces people into her club. The SOS Dawn, where they're just gonna try to find fun things to do, but there's definitely something else going on that I think is very interesting. It is a sci-fi school comedy. I think Haruhi, the main character, a lot of people either love or hate her. I happen to love her. I think she's very funny. This sort of group of characters is sort of forced together, but it's kind of fun for me to watch this dynamic. Okay, here's the thing. If you don't like characters who bully other characters, you're gonna hate Haruhi. That's fine, and that's totally fine. But for me, there's this great... Oh man, there's so much I want to talk about with Haruhi. It was aired in out of chronological order, and that to me is the way you need to watch the show, because the first season is literally designed and formatted so that the midpoint should be the last thing you watch. Don't watch in chronological order. Please, don't do that for your first time. Sorry, there's just so much to unpack, and I feel like I'm just blabbering. Anyway, I like the characters a lot. I like the hijinks they get into. There's like some romance stuff that I think is very fun. Season 2 is very divisive. I think it's kind of genius. And then I think the movie is incredible. I think if you watch it all the way through... No, some people's minds still didn't get changed. But I think if you didn't watch the second season of the movie, you're doing yourself a disservice. The movie really is a great emotional sort of finale that wraps up everything really well. A lot of payoff, a lot of catharsis. Also, it looks beautiful. Man, just seeing the growth from 1 to 2 and 2 to the movie, the growth in animation, oh my god, it's astonishing. I'm just blabbering at this point. I love Haruhi. I don't want to talk about the main plot point because I think it's better you don't know about it if you happen to not know about it yet. Yeah, if you like a comedy and then you want like a high school comedy and then it has some interesting elements that will pop up as you watch it, just check it out. And if you hate it, that's fine. I'm used to it at this point. But I love Haruhi to death. And finally, number 1 is Sound Euphonium. This to me is like peak KyoAni. It's about a high school band and just kind of like it goes from year to year. I love the main character. I love seeing her grow. I love the sort of like conflicts that are in this band, either with the teacher or with the students with each other. And it feels very accurate to what high school band was like. I played trombone for a long time, for like pretty much elementary school to high school. I played trombone throughout. It really does capture the feel of being in a band and like, do you band together and, you know, get better and succeeding after you've worked so hard or not succeeding. You know, I've experienced all those highs and lows. The dynamics of like, all right, new kids coming in. How does that change the dynamic of your section? Like, it's so good. So emotional. So I really love it. And just the idea of like, what is the point of pursuing creative endeavor? I think Sound Euphonium really explores that. Also, Liz and the Bluebird. Oh my god, that movie. I think you can just watch that movie on its own. It's better if you watch all of it up to it. Incredible film. Gorgeous to look at. So moving. Man, I'm just rambling and babbling. That's just how shows I love get me in this headspace of I just want to just word vomit about them. High School Symphonic Band, with all the dramas and the passions that come with that. Semi-recently watched season 3, and I really loved it. It's really interesting looking at Sound Euphonium, and because they're based off light novels, and you see they're taking source material, and clearly the director, who's Naoko Yamada, I think it's not just Naoko Yamada, but she's one of them. They're like, this is the stuff we're interested in, and we're gonna focus on this. It's very cool and interesting to see that happen. While they still stick with the canon for the most part, they do make some interesting changes and focus on different things. What they chose to focus on and the decisions they made, at least their changes, I thought were really interesting. I know that's vague. Again, I'm just rambling at this point. If you were ever in high school band, you gotta watch this show. And even if you weren't, I think it's a really, really wonderful show. All right, that was my top 10 KyoAni shows. There are some shows I haven't seen, and maybe in the future those would pierce through the list, but I feel pretty good about this top 10. But let me know in the comments what your favorite KyoAni shows are, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace, peace, peace.